Welcome to the HMO Property Show. By investors, for investors. Catch us weekly as we discuss all things cash flow positive property investing. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a new landlord, or just curious about property investing, this is the podcast for you. Sponsored by the Co-Living Collective, your trusted partner in creating vibrant and sustainable shared living experiences. Visit us at colivingcollective.com.au to learn more.
Welcome back to the HMO Property Show. Today I've got two of my good friends in the booth, and it's going to be a good episode and also a sad episode because today is the last episode in the podcast booth, and I wouldn't want to do this podcast with anybody else apart from the two gentlemen sat in front of me right now. It's Josh and Adam from Navigate. Is it bathrooms or building company now? What's going on, boys?
Well, funny you say that. We're actually having a rebrand.
Right.
Bathrooms is currently still the trading.
Right.
Property Group's the overarching company, but we're going to be turning it to Navigate Interiors and Navigate Homes.
Beautiful.
Just to split the divisions, and as you know, the interiors we're doing more than bathrooms. So
Right,
yeah.
Cool. Well, firstly, thanks for coming on the podcast, gents.
It's good to be
I
here,
wanted to
mate.
bring you on because when it comes to converting established properties into HMOs, you two are the go-to boys. And that's why we've partnered with you guys, right?
Yeah.
And that is now transitioning into new build HMOs as well, which is exciting.
It's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
exciting.
So I thought we'll talk about the journey, we'll talk about established properties, what to look for, and then we'll talk about what's going on in the new build space as well.
Sounds
good.
good, man.
Cool. So tell us about Navigate Bathrooms. How and why was it started? And how did you two start working together?
I'll let Josh kick it off.
So essentially, me and Adam have been, how long have we known each other for? About
Family friends for probably we've known each other for longer than that. 20 years maybe or
yeah. So I'm good mates with Adam's brother.
Yeah.
And going to Adam's house when we were all younger, a few parties and stuff like that. And Adam wanted to get an apprenticeship in something, so I got a job as a fire sprinkler fitter.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get an electrical apprenticeship at some point.
fresh out
Good
of school.
route, mate. That's the best
Yeah.
route.
So
Not an engineer, mate.
I convinced him to come to the dark side and join up. So
Yeah.
he got an apprenticeship with me through that. And then from then on, we just started working together.
Beauty.
And
How-
worked,
how old-
worked well together as well, that was the point.
How old are you? So you're still pretty young, right?
Oh yeah, 27.
So I'm
27.
33.
Cool. So you've known each other since.
Well,
Yeah.
I was just coming out of school, but
Yeah, right.
while I was still going through high school and stuff. So
Yeah.
So you joined the dark side, mate. You didn't become an electrician.
I didn't, mate. But being a fire sprinkler fitter is a pretty good job. It's
Yeah.
a royal. What would you call it? A
It's like a luxury plumber.
plumber, yeah.
Luxury plumber.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, my stepdad's a plumber. I have
Yeah.
to tell him that one.
But as any trade, as you know, it becomes a bit repetitive and less challenging, and obviously very physical. And like we worked together well, and we were running jobs, so we felt we had a bit more in us to have something else. We also worked on the side doing bathroom renovations, so
Yeah.
we were working a lot, and we found that it was a bit of a niche that we were good at managing some form of wet trade or something. So we thought, we could make a good team out of this and replicate it as you do, and turn into the business. Yeah, it's good.
So how do you go from fire sprinklers fitting to bathroom renovations?
I suppose it's like yourself. When you're working away, the income was good, but there was just something missing. Like you just wanted more aspirations. I've always wanted to be sort of had my own business, but also a property investor.
Yeah.
So it was it almost worked out perfect for where we have ended up today. Me being a licensed plumber, I've got my builder's license.
It's all happening.
It sort of definitely fell in. When we first started the business, we were working away at the time, and we just sort of said, do you want to see if we can start our own thing? So we got the old business plan out and started writing down what we thought we could actually incorporate.
It was a bit patchy at the start. Like Navigate Property Group was actually handling a bit of maintenance and doing a bit of fire sprinkler stuff still. So the transition wasn't directly into bathrooms. I think we're doing them here and there, and we found this is a very systemizable business. Like it's pretty similar. Obviously the designs and all of that can change, but really the amount, the people that are required, etc., where maintenance was all over the place, and we're like, this is too much to handle and too hard to package up and systemize, kind of like off the plan builders and stuff. It's reputable, easy, you can calculate it. So we just went hard at it, and
And we're very fortunate. A lot of our trades are our good friends.
I miss that, man. Like growing up in the UK,
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
so handy.
there's a massive pub culture there. So like a lot of the work I used to do, I used to win in the pub, believe it or not.
Yeah.
You'd be sat in the corner having a pint, so we're like, oh, give his electrician,
Yeah.
go have a chat with him. But
Yeah.
then that you mate that you were sat next to with the plasterer, and the
Yeah.
guy next to him was a plumber.
Yeah.
So like you guys now, you've just got that base around you.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's cool because you actually get to work with your friends.
Yeah.
And you keep in touch with them because
Yeah.
obviously as we get older, you distance a little bit.
Yeah.
Now you call them and it's, unfortunately, it's a bit about work, but yeah, it's good. You get to see them on a daily basis
Yeah.
sometimes and stuff. So yeah, very exciting.
So well, our main trades, they're all brothers. They've got brother-in-laws, brothers, and everything. So when the client meets one of them, and then,
Then
and
the
then
whole
the father
family-
comes, and then they start going, "Oh, this is a
The
very
whole
family
bloodline
business."
comes in.
It's good though, right?
Yeah.
It's like family businesses are what it's all about.
No, it is good.
Yeah.
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 So
So would you say before you got into the Navigate bathroom space, when you're doing the fire sprinkler fitting, would you say you were lacking a bit of purpose and knew there was something
Definitely.
bigger out there for you?
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't like having a boss.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
especially it was good, but yeah, just you're a bit of a number. It was a bigger company,
Yeah.
so it was just kind of a repetitive, and yeah, you didn't really get rewarded because we were, quite hard workers and doing some overtime. Would always do call outs and stuff, and the money was good, but you still miss that little piece where you just want someone to say, yeah, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
So
Never get it, do you?
you never get it.
Never
So
get it.
It definitely stems from, I mean, even with the Rich Dad Poor Dad book and stuff, you want to sit on that side of small
The
business.
quadrant, yeah.
Have your own business, invest, and that's sort of what was driving us to say we need to get over to this side.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
getting those leadership skills because we did have them even while we were working there. We'd organise basically the job. So here's the job. Cool. Organise all the materials. Figure out how to do it.
You don't
Talk
ever
to the
hear from the
clients.
office when they want to know the progress.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And you're like, probably do some of this ourselves. We're essentially
Yeah.
running this
It's the same
for
thing.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people get caught up in the jobs that they do, right? And they don't realise that the skills that they learn and work with somebody else are quite replicable in your own business.
That's right.
You need to learn sales and marketing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but you learn a lot there without actually realising what you learn, right?
It's definitely an uncomfortable feeling. I mean, when we sort of bit the bullet and left,
Oh, yeah.
I basically just cut the cord and went out there to start. One of my uncle's best mates gave us an office probably the size of this to get going.
Lived off savings.
There was an IOU, and probably I reckon there was about a year where we were just trying to find our feet, and I was eating into my savings, and then just basically almost making that decision to say, are we going to have to go back to working for someone, or are we going to make this work? And I just remember that one day where we had Google advertisement and we were doing it ourselves, and we finally just cracked the code, and we got our first bathroom inquiry come
yeah,
through.
that's sick.
And then
Yeah, you're
after
like, it
that-
works!
Yeah,
it was a massive
literally spent so
celebration.
long building the website, did all this, and yeah, the first lead came through and we're like, whoa, what the hell? Like,
And how close do you think you were to
I
walking
reckon
away
a
from
month.
it there? A
It
month
was-
left in the
yeah,
tank. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
And we felt bad because it was an IOU office, so he said, don't have to pay me straight away, just,
Yeah,
when
when
you
you're
start
ready.
getting on your feet. So we had to basically say
That's
to him,
good.
look, we're going to have to, we had to leave because I felt bad. I didn't want to keep owing him money. And then, we moved into a smaller office again.
Hey,
a
we
small
ended up
business
paying him
centre.
as well.
Yeah,
it's-
well done.
So we ended up paying him out, and
It's a good story because a lot of people don't. Well, I'm saying a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people realise how hard that hustle is at the very start of setting up your own business, and especially if you've cut the cord and you've got no income. But with when we were setting up J&G and HMO, like I was still working at Woodside and I had the cash flow coming in from my properties.
Yeah.
So that transition was a little bit smoother there. But there's been times when we've had cash flow problems in the business and you're thinking, shit, is this the end?
I
And then
remember
the phone rings.
the number one lesson I learned, because obviously when you're a tradie and we're doing again a lot of overtime, earning some good coin, and we're pretty young, you just start to spend money as you do.
Yeah.
And then when we cut the cord, I remember one thing I learned the most was how to save money. Again, it was crazy. It was like how to be conservative and actually like budget for things and stuff, which was actually very it was very refreshing because you start earning more money, so you start spending it quite comfortably.
Yeah, the lesson that you needed,
Yeah.
or the push that you needed.
Yeah.
I had to accept to move back home with my grandparents.
Yep.
And
Which is actually funny with the whole HMO thing because I was renting with my mum, and basically I got someone on Flatmates to come who still works
now our cleaner.
She's our cleaner.
Yeah, right.
And she came and I said she was looking for a room, and I said you can rent, so I can essentially not pay rent for that period.
Yeah.
So yeah, she moved in and then became really good friends with my mum, and she's our cleaner now and stuff. So it's a pretty cool story how it kind of crossed paths.
And I always say, you've got to live a few years like most people won't, so you can live the rest of your life like most people can't. And that means moving back in with your parents. I had to move in with my mother-in-law at one point. That was an interesting. That was when we did our first HMO, right? We were like, well, I don't want to take a 12-month lease on somewhere else if we can't rent this out. And so we moved in with the mother-in-law. Luckily, it was only for 2 months. And then when we leased that first property out, we went out and leased our own place. But you've got to make these sacrifices, right? And you guys have done it, so well done. We actually met at a networking event, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah,
Good, Josh.
And it was one of your networking events, wasn't it?
So I've known you for coming on 10 15 years.
Yeah, you knew him before our event, I think, because then we got to speak on that one.
Yeah. It was in the early days of networking. That was it was quite an interesting, like, still see on Facebook and stuff what everyone is doing from back in those days. And
Winston was kicking around there, wasn't he? Rest in peace. Was that networking group you set up with Winston? Like
that was
with
Winston.
In a partnership. Yeah.
So that was when we were trying to find our feet as to where we wanted
that
to
was
go.
The office, actually. That was that office.
That was the
if
office,
you can remember.
I remember that.
It's quite flashy. Yeah, it had a good setup.
It was. And from there, you started investing in your own properties.
It was basically the start while we were getting into it. Yeah.
So we sort of saw what you were doing with the share houses and the HMOs, and
it was early days, actually. I mean, obviously you did the speak on it and stuff like that, and everyone was still a bit
unknown.
A bit unknown if it was to work and stuff. But we loved the idea, and then we thought, if we will apply this strategy and give it a crack.
Property investing is one thing, but how can you generate income at the same time? Because that's the end goal. Which is pretty much exactly what we did. Stepped into the first one. We didn't have our own deposit to get into that. So we actually called upon Adam's uncle, which he put that down. And then it was just a whole lot of sweat equity, working till midnight.
Yeah, that one was rough. I always have these visions of walking out in the rain. The skip bin was at the front. And just walking out in the rain with this, it was so full, the skip bin, and we had like a plastic tub, just dumping rubbish and getting wet out there, like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night.
I'm surprised we had no noise complaints from neighbours.
Do you look back on that though and like miss them days?
Oh,
like,
100%.
That's when like the grind.
Kind of,
real,
besides
like,
the burnout, because we're also trying to run a business. People were looking at us like we were completely occupied.
Well, the projects we do for
16
ourselves
nowadays.
Oh, it was rough.
7 days a week.
We definitely don't go as hard, but the projects we have for our own side stuff is an enjoyment. Like, I actually enjoy going there, setting the furniture up, and just your downtime.
Get the radio on.
But
not
as bad as that one. That one was full on. Like, we did half the work ourselves.
Let's talk about that one then. So you didn't have the deposit for it. You found a property that was convertible from a standard property to a HMO. How did you
it was in,
your uncle
just before COVID. It was in Kingsley, this one. Corner lot. So basically every property we bought has been a corner lot except for 2, but they're still subdividable.
So we're always trying to aim for that
retain and build
the strategy.
Sort of cash flow land bank thing.
We like to subdivide and put a share house into it.
Try to convert the existing house so it kind of had to suit a share house. The first one we just got lucky. Like I said, we kind of thought we'd apply HMO to it just because it worked. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a strategy we had initially. We're kind of like, what are we doing with this thing? We knew we were going to subdivide it. But it was a very, very, it was on the market for ages because it was just a trash property, like super trash. No one wanted it just before COVID.
You guys love them properties, right?
Oh, man, it was like, we were looking around going, it was still daunting at the time though, because again, we weren't doing full houses per se. Like, we're very confident at what we do.
We jumped into this one like just
green. Like, it was the whole house. There's nothing in there. I still remember it was just some old jar of furniture in the middle of the house. Like, you guys got to take that out. Cheers. But awesome. So that was a retain and build subdivider. Had a
the beauty of this one is the agent didn't realise what he had. So it was a corner block, and we could actually subdivide straight down the middle. And it had a centre garage that was dividing a granny flat.
So 2 by
the
1
main house. So we managed to rip the middle garage out, build a firewall onto it.
It's actually the easiest split, that one. There was no, like, just knocking out the garage because it was like it was added after or with the thought of keeping them separate. So, yeah, we just literally knocked the roof down.
And that was on a different lot.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
So
right.
they've got 2 separate titles now.
Perfect.
One's a 2x1, and the main house is a
5x4.
5x4.
Beauty.
That was the first one. And then, yeah, we put HMO into it and going, well, let's just give this a try.
So how did you convince your uncle to put the money into this then? You've never invested in property before.
Yeah.
It's a strategy that a lot of people look at and go, oh, fuck, that looks too much hard work to
I
me.
think he's so.
He's pretty investing minded as well.
Yeah, he's invested minded. But before this, we were always talking about investing in property and just giving the idea of it. So when we came across this deal, we basically presented it to him and showed him that this is what we want to do. Is he interested in giving us that with an agreement of a interest return?
Yeah.
Beauty. Paid him back.
Has to be a trusting. Yeah, so we paid him basically back on that, and then we'll get to the one later, but then he came back in on another one, which we're literally just about to pay him for that because we've sold the land. But he wanted to stay in every time. I said, look, as soon as you're ready, tell me and we'll make sure we get you out. He's like, no, well, why would you want to get out? You know, it's a good investment and it's safe for that quantity of money. So,
So you set your own business up. When did Navigate Bathrooms start?
well, we registered the property group, which was 2017,
Yeah.
around
2017.
then. So bathrooms would have been probably a year or so after.
Yeah.
Cool. And then you bought your first property.
Just before COVID, 2020, end of 2020.
So COVID was coming in, and we were basically at the point of when we were going to buy this is do we commit and buy with the unknown of what COVID was going to bring?
Yes.
Yeah.
How nervous was that time, right?
was-
Business, property, everything was just...
The house was smoked. It was like, it was crazy.
So it was either going to be the tipping point on one way or the other.
Yeah.
And we're just fortunate that
Yeah, it worked out super good. So, yeah.
So the first one, you set up 2017, you needed your 2 years trading so you could start buying property.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you're going out there, you're buying property in 2020.
End of 2020, I think that was COVID.
Cool,
So that was
cool.
the first one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how are we looking now? What's the portfolio looking like?
It's all, actually, honestly, I'd like to have it written down and say it because I always forget.
Just how many
Of course, no. We've got 9.
So there's 9.
There's
and
9,
a block of land.
6 HMOs, and then the 2 other houses that have been subdivided.
Beautiful.
And then a block of land that's coming, which we'll build on.
And we've just recently sold a block of land in Ferndale.
Which will
so
which will
that's
pay the uncle
basically-
back.
Yeah.
Just that one piece of land will pay him out.
Perfect. Because we're looking at HMO that one as well, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to do it. We've got the front as a HMO and we just thought, like, even ethically, it's probably a bit too busy and stuff. So we thought it's an exit for us. Let's probably move out of it and crack on. So
Beautiful. Well done, guys, on the journey.
it's been all in 4 years, mate. It feels like a lifetime, but in the middle of it, we were pretty much finishing one and settling on the other. So it was pretty full on. Like we went from one literally driving to the next one.
And every deal has had its own challenges with bank lending and just trying to get things over the line. Like Greenwood, we went through finance extensions, I think, twice.
Yep.
And then the owner was about to pull the deal and I raced to the Crown Casino to get two Crown
voucher,
vouchers
yeah.
for $1,000 each.
Just to sweeten him up. To say,
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say, like, put it all on black.
yeah, that could have gone well, yeah.
They probably spent the money there, but it was just to try and get them to give us another couple of days.
To show
to
it's
get the
serious though,
financing.
like we're not fluffing around.
Nice
like,
touch.
Yeah.
Nice touch.
it was actually an interesting move, and they did it. So
Were you
'cause-
dealing direct with the vendor or was an agent?
The agent was involved, but
Right.
she was quite close with the buyer's agent that we had.
Yeah.
So yeah.
and they had another offer, which was cash, just 10 grand less or something, and it was ready to go. And we're like, man, we need to hold on to this. So we got super lucky with that.
Yeah.
That one was probably the hardest one, and then even the council on that one splitting it. Yeah, they didn't want it to happen,
Yeah.
but got it over the line.
So no one knew that, again, that was a splitter. So with the house, we sort of had to zigzag and chop the block up in a unique
I
way.
just didn't like the setbacks, but it worked well, and we showed them a house design and everything, but yeah, got it through. And yeah, we actually built a 3x2. It was our first new build.
Yep.
Built a 3x2 on it, and I'm living in it currently.
Wicked.
Yeah.
So what's the goal with the property investing then? Do we have a target that we're trying to reach? Like, when's the end? Or do you just keep going?
So, I mean, we love it that much that the sort of, I can't really see a day of stopping. But we've sort of come up with a sort of price point of saying we want around the 200 to 250,000 of positive cash flow each.
Yep.
Just to replace incomes and
Yeah.
stuff. But how that looks, I don't know. Like, we're starting to kind of look a little bit into commercial as well.
Yeah.
We love HMO, would absolutely keep the diversity of it.
Yeah.
but at one point we might also want to move into a bit of
It's
commercial.
always good to diversify, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And going back to what you said there, Josh, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life,
That's
right?
right. Yeah.
Some people might look at you and go, fuck, you guys are working so hard and like
Yeah.
you're going to burn out, but you're like,
So I've burned out 3 times. We're good now.
Yeah. Burn out, have a break, come
Yeah.
back refreshed.
No,
again,
learn a lot along the way, but now it feels, again, we've got a bit of a team behind us, and we know the strategy we're doing and stuff, so it all feels a lot easier than what it was before.
Yeah.
So,
Let's talk about the HMO conversions then, because like I say, it got to the point where we were not struggling per se, but it was getting to the point where trying to run a team and a renovation team with a project manager and everything else that needed. I was like, when does this end? You just keep adding more and more people to the business. So I put an ad on Facebook, or a post on Facebook going, looking to partner with a builder, and Josh puts his hand up and goes, I'd love to help. And I was like, why didn't I not even think about Josh?
I remember screenshotting it to Josh. And I was
It's
like,
crazy how
so
close
what do
you
you
are
think?
and you don't realise it.
Yeah, so since then, we've probably done, 30, 40 deals between us? or
I've
something?
lost count now.
Yeah,
I
there's a
reckon.
few of them,
You'd
right?
be up there in that number.
And I think the difference between what we used to do a pretty good product, right? But I think the difference between what we do and what you do is use a bathroom specialist.
Yeah.
And a conversion is essentially
Ironically,
en suite,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
Which is bonkers when I think about like how I didn't reach out to you before this.
Yeah.
But I look at the product that we deliver now in the renovation space, and even though the numbers are getting tighter, we'll talk about what you look for in a minute, but I just look at the price points of stuff now, and on a feasibility, it just doesn't look that attractive for the conversion stuff,
of course, yeah.
Unless you're doing the bulk of the work yourself.
Yeah.
But they're like picking up properties in Mandurah for 700 grand just doesn't excite me
crazy.
at all.
Yeah.
At all. But going back to the product itself, like I walk in them houses now, the bathrooms are mint, like the colour schemes are good, the furniture packs that the girls are putting in now is just incredible. Like every time I walk into one, I never get bored of walking in them. I'm always like, this is wicked. I love the way they've done this. I don't even get involved in the design now because you guys just know it inside out, don't you?
Yeah, so we've got our drafty, which we trained him up through our ones, just a specific design. He's had great ideas and stuff as well. But we showed him how we did a few of ours, and then a few of our other ones we kind of incorporated his thoughts into.
Yeah.
So yeah, he started really understanding the best way to set these up, and comes up with some great ideas. Even I look at it now, it's beyond me now. Like he just does something, I'm like, shit, that's so good.
I love it. Yeah, so I love, do you know what I really like? I like the way you build the ensuite now with a bed against the ensuite and the walk-through wardrobe into the ensuite. I think that's a wicked use of space in them houses now. Really, really good.
There's a big thing on, like we could easily just slap these things together, but it's a quality thing that we always try and maintain, just even with the bathroom clients or full
Taking
house
pride
renovation.
in your what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like we did it. The thing is with ours, we did it, and like obviously Dawn, and we had to go. You want to make a good product, and that's good for longevity and sustainability. You want to make it like attractive, and as the more
the
product
first comment
comes to the
people
market.
say when they're looking as an occupant is they go, "Wow, this is amazing! I haven't seen anything like this."
Yeah.
So it's
And
actually
it's a feel good
pretty
feeling.
standard.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's like,
standard,
oh really?
yeah.
The
thanks.
standard we go
It's
for.
like you want to
all
have
the time.
the Ritz-Carlton of HMOs. You want to have the nice rooms, not just someone whipping up a garage conversion and it's crap.
And we're trying to change the perception of the way people see this style of accommodation, right? So if we deliver a shoddy product, people are always going to have that perception that it's for low socio, low income earners. But when you deliver a better product, you spend a couple of $1,000s more on delivering just a better layout, better colour schemes, and just a better product. It attracts a much better person.
Plus, people want to look after the house because it's new and it's nice. Like if you go give them, it's like an old car. You don't care if you dent it. You go buy a brand new car, you're cleaning that thing. So it's kind of like we found that a lot of our houses we've done, we still walk through them now, and they're immaculate because they want to keep them clean. Which is it's a good thing, you know.
I see that.
We've still got occupants that have been there from day one.
Like Kingsley, we've got one guy in Kingsley who's been there. He said, "I'm never leaving."
How good's that?
And he's got like he's in the front room. And he's a gamer, and he's got like these purple lights glowing. You drive past, his whole room's glowing purple. He's having a ball in there, eh? It's so good.
How many rooms have you got in your own portfolio now?
It would be most of them are 25-ish.
25-ish, managing themselves as well.
Yeah.
Must be getting at that point, I think. If I was
It basically, it's basically
where we are. Like,
I think just because the way the market is now, I mean, a lot of people are kind of staying and renewing leases.
Yeah.
We don't have that super high turnover.
Yeah.
And we're considering it's us, we know our targets for rent. So if we're not going to squeeze it to have high turnover, we prefer to take a little bit less to let us have our time. So there's a bit of a balance there, which is tricky to find sometimes. But yeah, we they seem to be okay.
Let's talk about tenant demographic. A lot of people always ask me who lives in houses like these. What sort of people have you got in your houses?
Josh's apartment.
Yeah. Well, the first house we basically took in a cleaner, a lawyer who was going through a divorce.
Lawyer. Wow.
Yeah. She literally just put her stuff in the room and never came.
Yeah, she was never there.
It's crazy. She like rock up maybe once every 2 weeks.
But we had a nurse.
I was getting worried. I was like, she's storing stuff in there.
Someone that's just moved over recently from over east, and then got a job up north. So the dynamic is massive.
Cleaner, nurse, lawyer, fly in, fly out.
Yeah.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah, all nationalities, different. There was, everything in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have we got in some of the other houses?
I'd say it's quite common at the moment. It is your sort of the nurses sort of
FIFOs a bit.
FIFOs,
Get your university.
hospitality,
Quality
A
tenants.
little bit of studying.
The kind of
university.
tenants that people would want
Yeah.
in a standard residential property, right?
It's actually very rare that we get students apply.
Yeah.
I'm a bit surprised by that, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The ones closer to Joondalup maybe, but not really. Hey, it's yeah.
And what about when we're looking for a property? If we take away your strategy, which is to buy, hold, subdivide, he's building on the back of these as well, building HMOs on the back,
No,
or you
not
just selling the
HMOs.
land?
HMOs.
They're probably not big enough.
Yeah, so
Each
keep
lot's-
the front, sell the back.
Yeah.
And does that back cover the cash that's gone into the front?
That's
you
exactly
kind of
right.
dig
So it's
cash back
covered.
out the deal.
Yeah.
Covered reno and deposit. So we basically been able to recycle
Yeah.
the money out and buy the next, and that's how we're doing it so aggressively.
Yeah, brilliant.
So that
So for the people that don't, and I mean it is a great strategy, but subdivisions, how long are they taking at the minute?
They used to be like 8 months. Now they're bloody a year and a half.
Yeah, it's
crazy,
crazy.
at
Isn't it?
least.
Where are
We've
you
got
seeing the
some-
biggest hold up at the minute?
Western Power.
Yeah.
Even councils just they're
What
just
are Western Power do? They just sat there twiddling their thumbs going, yeah, we'll get to that massive pile of paper.
Even just trying to get a dome installed, like you've got to make sure there's not even a rock on the floor for them
Yeah.
to actually come out.
literally they're not even joking. They send you an email going, we can't install that. They zoom in on a rock or something. And you're like, are you serious? You can just lift it out, you know.
And what about getting titles from Langate? Is that sped up yet?
Hard.
We're trying to get 2 tiles at the moment, so we'll let you know in a
How long have you been waiting?
Our titles, we just got consent, so it hasn't been too long.
yeah.
Right. Last ones we had were sitting around 3 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah.
It's councils is definitely up there.
Yeah.
But we've had banks as well when we're getting consent and stuff. Make
Yeah.
it hard at that point. So again, they've all had their own challenges and where, but at the moment, Western Power was definitely making a dent in some of them, yeah.
So if whilst you're waiting for that subdivision to go through, conversion on the front house, what does that take us now?
Oh.
3 weeks? Or...
Yeah, it's four to 6
Girls in the
weeks.
office are like, I wish they'd slow down. Like literally giving the keys.
Furniture
and then-
takes longer to order.
It does. It
Nah,
does.
we aim for probably 6. I mean, ours can be a little bit full on as far as like you guys buy some fairly nice houses compared to again ours have probably got
We're
nothing
pretty
in
much
them half
starting
the
from
time.
bare bones.
But still, sometimes that's it's a good thing.
Can you finance them? Are they habitable houses?
It's a good one. Yeah.
So Heathridge, the first one we bought, we actually went there with a stainless steel sink and put it in the kitchen to say that was a
you need
habitable kitchen.
You need your toilet, your shower, and
So
your
there's
sink.
nothing in there.
There's
I'll be
nothing.
real.
And then they're like, no, we're not. That still doesn't serve as
Which
the
was a bit
habitable.
annoying because we went through the whole finance period.
For
And
them to
then
say
on
that.
the last day, they then said, no, it's not habitable, we can't finance it.
So we got a little
And so we
extension, and
We asked for an extension for,
3 days,
I
wasn't
think it was
it?
3 days. And
The
we
pressure was on. It was full
basically
on.
sat down at night time coming up
What
with
were you
this.
hoping to achieve in 3 days?
Well, we went to a private lender in the city.
Yep.
Basically come up with a Excel spreadsheet, a little PowerPoint presentation to say, can we fund
So
the
old
whole
school as well. It's like
private
one of the
private
USB.
money?
Yeah.
He basically, I think he would have been about 80 years old, just looking through it. He didn't really give much, and we were basically sitting there like in anticipation for him to say yes.
Yeah, like, come on, it's a perfect deal. Like, it makes sense.
Come back to us the next day saying, no, it's not his appetite.
Well, he said I'd only deal with over 10 mil or something stupid
Yeah.
number. Only deal with like 10
What was
mil. It
this?
was like,
400 grand.
it was 450 grand.
It would have been pocket money for him.
So I was like,
Yeah.
shit. I was like, I gotta call my uncle.
So we asked Adam's uncle if he wanted to basically go all in with it.
And he literally just sold his house in Westminster.
See the cash in the bank.
So he's like, yeah, all right, I'll give it to him for a few months. So we got over the line, then refinanced it.
So use the cash to buy it,
Yeah.
renovated it,
Refinanced
brought the
it.
bank in when it's classed as habitable.
Yep. So
Smashed
then we went
that.
to refinance and take the money out to pay him half. And I said, we'll just give you the other half once we split it back and sell it, which we ended up selling it. But he's like, I'll stay in. because I kind of told him what else was happening. He said, I'll stay in for a bit longer. So that money we just then could double down, and we bought
Beauty.
We ended up buying two
two at
properties.
once, yeah. Which was like, we were like, which one do we start on?
Everyone needs an uncle like this guy.
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah. No, he's been real.
He's
real
been a
good.
real
Yeah,
lifesaver.
wicked,
So-
wicked.
It's a win-win though, yeah.
So what are they looking for the clients that might be listening to this now? Think, I want to do a renovation myself. Like, what are they looking for in a property? What's the floor plan or the things that you look for when looking at a floor plan?
It's obviously it's very size based, and it's nicer now. We obviously all know that studios are becoming like, we don't try to maximize the rooms in every situation. Like we've done 4x4s, just because the studios are larger and the rents.
What was that before you converted to a 4x4?
That would have been a 3x2
With the 2 living areas?
one. So this one.
Yeah.
It was they're all subdivided, so none of the houses are massive.
Right,
Like not,
gotcha.
they're
So,
not.
so our
overall.
strategy is probably a little bit different to what a standard HMO
Yeah, so
But-
investor.
But
Six
still, 3x2, 2 living areas would suffice if it's a fairly large house.
Yeah.
Otherwise, obviously, a 4x2. 4x1 could also work in some situations. It really depends on that free space and the size.
Ultimately, I'd say you'd be looking for a 4x2 with a theatre room as a comfortability,
Yeah.
and then you can really go
And
creative.
That get you 5 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And then, because we live in Western Australia and we build these massive houses,
Yeah.
we
That's
normally
right.
have a games room and a theatre room, don't we? Just in
Yeah.
case you want to watch a movie while
That's
someone's
right.
playing snooker.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if
They're-
you can get
they're the
those
premium
ones, they're
ones,
the
aren't they?
premium. Yeah.
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 But to buy them now, we were picking them up. Let's go back pre-COVID. We were picking them up in Success, for instance, for like 380, 450 max.
Yeah, it's
You're paying
crazy.
500 grand for one. You were like, wow, that's expensive.
That's right.
You can't even pick them up in Success now for like under 850. I'd say you'd be looking at 900 grand actually.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
And
yeah.
then Mandurah, like we said earlier on the podcast, you're looking around the 700 plus mark for a property in Mandurah.
Yeah.
And the problem that you've got there is we've done a few properties down there because that's all that would stack up at the time. But the rental yield down there and the amount of investors that have gone down there,
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
saturated the market with
It's
investment
not picking
properties.
them up.
And the room rates just aren't supporting the price of paying 700 grand. So then we say to ourselves, is it worth paying 900 grand for a property in Success?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
getting 330, 350 a room. But then you look at the cash required for that. Like,
That's
what's
the hard
What's a
part.
rental costing at the minute? Like 2 en-suites.
Yeah, look, we always, just a real high level, it's like 35 for the ensuite, 35
Yeah.
grand. So when you add that up and you get 4, it's 120 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then generally, it depends on the condition of the house. Like your minimum normally is about 150 after fire, safety,
Yeah.
bit of conversion, bit of paint.
So you're
They
paying
can go to
900.
200 if you need a kitchen. It's a pretty average
Yeah.
property.
So
But
you pay 900 plus your stamp duty on that's about 38 grand. Then
Yeah.
150 for the conversion, 40 for the furniture.
definitely heavy on the cash side.
Yeah. And then you're like, you look at the cash required for that. That's 350 grand with a 20% deposit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're like, do I just do a new build?
Yeah, the new build's definitely good. I mean, if you can still, it's just more the stock in my eyes. Like we haven't bought one for a while because it's more the stock, the product. Like the numbers, even up north, where we've done some past like Hocking and stuff like that, you do get the old houses that are bigger enough to do it, and you can still probably get them at that. Say you bought it at 800, for instance, and you put 150 into it, you're at 950, so it's not too bad, and the numbers still work if the room suits. But it's getting that house to work. Like I look, and you get the odd one that pops up, but you might not get it. So yeah, they are out there, and the numbers can still work incomparable to new builds, but it's a bit more challenging to find, and the cash is a big component,
Yeah.
massively.
And for the cash flow, I always look at like how much is this going to generate in the future when it's debt free as well. And we
That's
look
it.
at you've got 6 bedrooms all en suite with kitchenettes in
Yeah.
compared to 6 bedrooms,
Correct.
3 with en suites, 3 sharing a bathroom.
There's definitely a higher turnover of
Yeah.
occupants in the shared bathrooms.
Yeah.
The only positive, I guess, again, back to our perspective, we've weighed up building and buying existing is obviously it's the land value though. Like if you're buying something nice up there, it's 700 squares.
Mental.
Yeah.
Expensive.
It's a good little combo of you might sacrifice a bit of cash flow now and maybe in the future, but you get that land banking and that equity, especially because those houses are in areas that are going to be for good growth. You know, they might not be in a big development or something, but
It's probably a good opportunity for people that have current houses to look at their
Definitely.
portfolio and see what they can do with them.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. Get that yield up.
Mm.
I mean, even with interest rates where they are now, HMO conversion is still cash flow positive.
Yeah.
Oh,
You-
100%.
You're not losing money.
That's right.
We have 4x4s that are still, and they're on 6 to 7%.
Yeah.
They're still in the low dock territory, and it's like, yeah, we don't even have to refinance amount of rush because they're still positive.
So how do we transition from bathroom renovations, bathroom installations, HMO conversions to new build construction?
Well, we did that one in Greenwood. Obviously, again, basically when you're renovating a whole house, there's not much left than bricking it up
Yeah.
and doing a roof and stuff. So
Especially when you bought that one in Heathreach. It's literally walls and a roof, right?
that's all that's
much,
left.
So the only thing that you guys need to do is put a slab down, build the wall, put the
And
roof
surprisingly enough, some of the bathroom renters we do, we've done bathroom renters that are like 6 figures. Like
Really?
and they're very structural. They're, you're putting skylights and you're building brick walls,
Oh,
changing
yeah.
windows, knocking walls down. You literally have the amount of trades in that room that could build a house. So that gave us a lot of knowledge, and it's just on a larger scale. So we thought best to start is on our own one, which was that one in Greenwood.
Yeah.
And we smashed it out. It's a fairly nice build in terms of detail, and we built it in about 12 months.
12 months, nice.
So we felt confident. We said, look, we weeded it out, building one, and any cracks that we might have and stuff like that. And then we thought, let's obviously, given the market, if renters were still on, we'll prefer them. Because there's a little bit less coming, then we thought, hey, let's do some HMO builds.
And the beauty of that is we believe that we would be a lot quicker from once we get to lockup.
Me
That
too.
we will.
Internally, we'll
Me
smash it.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've got that trade base there
Yeah.
already, right?
Oh,
What's a HMO conversion taking at the minute?
6 weeks.
6
yeah.
weeks.
5,
weeks.
sometimes 5.
Yeah.
So a lot of the builders we see, they work really well to lock up.
Yeah.
They've got one trade for the slab, one trade for the bricks, one trade for the roof,
Yeah.
lock up, and then things start slowing down when they're managing multiple trades.
We're like the complete
That's where you
opposite.
guys come into your
Yeah.
own, right?
Plus, our internal quality would be.
And we'll always keep our internal trades busy with all the interior works,
Yeah.
and then we just basically keep putting
Move
them
them
onto the
around.
new
Yeah,
builds.
They're just on
Move-
call.
Keep them
so-
in your ecosystem.
Yeah,
So what we're looking at then, 3 months or something for a build.
we'd hope so.
Well, we were slower, especially with the bricklayer we had on the Greenwood one. We're slower to get it to lock up, and then once we had it to lock up, we're over in about 3-4 months.
A lot of bricklayer reached out to me last night from Middlesborough, just came over. So
Really?
Give me his
Send it
number.
through,
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
do
number.
that for
Perfect.
sure. Because right now bricklayers are in demand
Yeah.
massively.
Awesome.
Midland Brick keep putting their prices up. So.
And that's the like,
So we see how is the pricing in the industry looking at the minute? Because we've seen that crazy spike, right?
It's
Everyone
leveled
feels
out.
contract.
It's definitely leveled out. I wouldn't say it's going down.
it sort of
but
comes in cycles. So obviously land's harder to get at the moment. So the new builds are sort of slowing down a little bit, but once they sort of start ramping up again, the brickies then start feeling busy, so they put their prices up,
Yeah.
and then it's a snowball effect.
What are we paying brickies at the minute? Like Rockstars at one point, weren't they?
You'd be lucky to get one at 2. You'd be 220, 240. Some would be asking 280
Creeping
still.
back up.
Yeah.
Creeping
So
back
they
up.
are definitely coming back up.
What were the pre-boom?
Oh,
Dollar a brick.
Oh, it was crazy.
mate,
Yeah.
80 cents, dollar. Yeah, it's crazy.
3x the money.
Yeah.
eh?
But
You find-
across the board, everyone, you look at.
Not all
know.
brickies, but some of the brickies are, because they were making more money, they started working half days. So
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, bit counterintuitive.
yeah.
But across the board, everyone's
Charge
shouldn't say
twice as much.
that. Not everyone doubled, but there was a good 30-40% on most people and even materials. So, but it's leveled out. I'm finding it's pretty consistent at this point, which is good. Midland Brick, obviously, having the market, they keep putting up their supply of bricks and pavers.
So a lot of prices are coming from supply chain more so than trades at the moment.
Yeah.
Trade's pretty consistent.
Trades are consistent. Could have dropped down a little bit for a period, but depends who you get and stuff like that. If they're still super busy for the next year, then they might still retain those prices.
If
So.
you can keep a tradie busy enough, they'll look after you on their prices. But if you're trying to find that one trade, then they'll just try and
just throw a
rip you
number
off
at
and
it.
then throw a number.
$3,000. Where did you get that number
Yeah,
from?
that's
I
it.
fucking made it up.
Same thing
Pretty
that happens
much.
in
Just look at
like
those.
the interior renovation, especially bathrooms. Someone says, "Oh, I can do this cheaper on my own," but by the time they call up 3 tilers and get all random prices from them, and the tilers are busy enough, they'll just throw a number at them.
You finished a renovation in that time.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the
it.
next one.
Yeah, and it's probably subpar. It's
Yeah.
like, we're never going to see you again. So.
Yeah. Being active investors and also being in the construction side of things as well, how do you feel the market is at the minute for investing in, and where do you think it's going to go over the next 6 to 12 months?
I reckon we've still got more growth to come.
Interest rates coming down are definitely going to bring some sentiment back.
Yeah.
So
Especially with the supply and demand of you've got more people coming in, so they're obviously going to need somewhere to live.
Yeah.
So
24,000
and catching up,
people.
we've got so much to catch up, and like even within the TAFEs and all that, there's just a massive lack of people coming in wanting to work hard. Trades, there's massive shortages. So
Yeah. What do they all want to do nowadays? Instagram,
YouTube,
Yeah.
for easy.
Stark reality, isn't it?
Wi-Fi money.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
you could have a broken microwave or oven in the house, but as soon as the Wi-Fi goes down, you know about it.
Yeah. I'd seen some stats the other day from the UDIA urban, I can't remember what they call it, the Urban Intelligence Report or something.
okay.
It's giving you stats on what's going out there in the market. Last quarter, 24,000 people moved to Australia. That was a mixture of interstate and overseas migration in Western Australia.
We've got a goal, don't we? There's a goal in like by 2030. There's a figure they've got in mind to get to it.
They wanted to be at 3 million,
Yeah.
3.5 million by 2035, and we're ahead of that target now because we've just ticked over 3 million people.
Wow.
Far out.
Yeah, so I did some stats on this the other day. We need by 2035, if we keep up with the way it is now, we'll have 660,000 to 740,000 people move to the state. And if we have 2.5 people per house, we'd need around 330,000 houses, which means we need to build 27,000 houses a year.
Yeah, no, that's like boom
Right,
back in the
yeah,
day. That's
27,000 houses a year until 2035. So that's for the next 10 years, right? And we're averaging 12, 15,000 at the minute.
yeah. I don't see it getting much better unless they bring people in, but it's a double-edged sword.
Where do they live?
That's what I mean. It's a double-edged sword. You have to bring professionals from other places and say, well, exactly where they're going to live. We need to convert the people
The
here.
English and the Irish, they'll just sleep in tents, man. They'll love it, don't they?
Yeah.
To be sure.
Yeah, sure. No, 100%.
Yeah.
So it's
Good
it's
job we've got some affordable accommodation for them, right?
well, it works well for that. So it is an interesting climate, but I reckon for the next, we've got a solid run and again a short run with the interest rates dropping.
Yeah.
It's just going to squeeze it all again.
Yeah.
Don't know how far, but it's definitely going to squeeze it because affordability has been hit. That's why we can see it tapering a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the end of the year,
Once interest rates start lowering, it'll be interesting.
It's gonna ignite.
next year's just going to be full on again. Yeah. Need a good holiday before next year.
Yeah, take some time off on Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
Let's finish it off on coaches and mentors because we've had similar coaches and mentors, and we had a little chat there. He's now working with somebody different. So who have you had in your corner helping you get through all of this? Because it's not easy doing it on your own, is it?
No.
Yeah. So I was blessed when I first started. My first property deal was before Adam's time. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Yeah, those were the best lessons out, right?
It was.
Hurt at the time.
I watched.
It was a super stressful probably year for me. I lost 60 grand on that project, but I learned so much from it.
60 grand lesson.
Yeah.
But then you made it back on your second one. So I came in on the third of Josh's.
Yeah.
So
I
Not
met,
many make the mistakes, yeah.
and I come in and they'll go well. Wonder what's missing.
so I met Dave, our buyer's agent, who's a huge mentor.
Yeah.
He basically took me under his wing. I didn't have the funds to actually do a project at the time, but he allowed me to go with him to all the open homes that he was going through and show me the ropes from there. He introduced me to a life coach at the time, Jill.
Jill McIntyre.
Yeah. She basically paved the way for me to get out of my own way. And then from that point on, it was just finding Steve McKnight. Flew over there a few times.
Did his course.
Steve,
That's the first one we did together.
Good guy, isn't he, Steve?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
crack up.
Genuine
It is
guy.
funny. Yeah, we always went to his
He's
stuff.
very number orientated, which I'm shocking at.
Yeah.
So it was quite
I don't
hard
mind
to try and get into the nitty gritty of it all. But
So we kind of, we utilised his stuff. But I guess at that point we had each other to bounce off as well.
Yeah.
So then we smashed it for these last 4 years or so. Obviously the business, pre-business, but investing. And then, only recently now we're in that position to make some big decisions. It's like we brought on results mentoring over East. So
we both had a similar mentor in Mr. Ian Ugarte as well.
Yeah.
He's a HMO guru.
Definitely
HMO
pioneered
teacher.
it. So everything we learnt, we basically got off him and yourself with the first share house. I remember drawing a little schematic and put it on the Facebook group, and you came in and said tweak this little bit, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, look, Ian was a great mentor for me at that stage of my life as well, and I think each mentor gets you to the next step, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know anyone that's just had the same one all the way through the career.
No,
Kinda
you
get what
evolve.
need.
You need different ideas and strategy.
Because even the mentors have their mentors, and you're sort of always learning and growing to the next stage.
And I've seen some great outcomes from results as well. Who are them guys? We'll give them a shout out.
No, they're definitely good. Simon, is that? Yeah, that's a.
And is it Brendan as well?
Brendan, Simon,
So we're actually flying over there in November to say hello. So
just need bigger thinking. That's all. We've got a good strategy going. The market is changing a bit, but stepping into something like commercial and all that, it's a bigger beast. So we need to be able to.
Proximity is power. I say it all the time, right? Why try and work it out yourself when you can just pay somebody else to show you how to work it out?
It's how can I learn how to do it? Who can teach
we delegate for everything in our lives, unless I really enjoy doing something. If someone can do it better and I can do what I'm good at, I'm going for that. Maybe in the early days, everything, and that's how you burn out real quick when you're trying to run at this pace.
Stand on the shoulders of the giants, right? That's the way
that's
you do
it.
And we're still learning that. Like, I remember when we first started doing bathrooms, I was doing the demo, I was doing the plumbing, I was doing the silicone, the cleaning. I was pretty much doing everything, and I don't know why I just didn't think, why don't I just pay a cleaner to do it?
I remember the day and he looks at me because I'm the other half of the business, and he's like, can we afford it? And I was like, no shit. I was like, pay a cleaner, why are you spending that long? I didn't even know you were spending that much time.
You try in the early days, you try and save every dollar, right? Because you think that's what you need to do as a business owner.
Cleaning's probably on a lower level, but I feel like you almost need to walk it and understand. Like me with the marketing and stuff, I learned how to do it and did it, so then I could project manage and actually ask the right questions rather than paying someone to take you for a ride. So I actually understood a bit of that. You don't have to know. It's like knowing a little bit of everything, not knowing a lot about.
It's like going to your accountant's office and knowing the right questions to ask for them to give you.
I don't want to be an accountant at all, but it's good to understand a real high level of it, because you can actually then make some informed decisions and stuff like that.
I'm thinking about some of the guests that we've had on the podcast who are also part of our circle, right, that have come out with the results thing and done some good outcomes. Adam Barry, over there now.
Those guys,
Julie Taylor. Anyone else from Perth that I'm missing?
I only know of those three we have seen in our circle.
All
but
very successful property developers, doing some really good things. So
and always keep in touch with Julie as well.
Oh, she's great.
So
the only thing with Julie, she'll sail the same with me. We can't have a 5-minute conversation, so when she rings me, I've got to make sure I've got 30 minutes for you to take the call, because we just talk about everything. She's a lovely lady. I love it.
And so watching all that, that's like we've grown up with that type of people around us, and they're always a phone call away. Like, I know if I ever needed something, I'd call you up and you'd be happy to help.
It's good community, and it's the same as HMOs, good community. So
we're all just trying to do our best, right, and be the best versions of ourselves we can be, and provide the best service we can.
Exactly.
What about the next 5-10 years? What are you excited about? Where you see it all going?
Look, definitely building. Real keen on breaking into that. I actually wouldn't say I never thought I could do it, but having the team and building would be quite exciting. It's that next level kind of thing for us, and making a business out of that. So that's number one. And then obviously, as far as the investing goes, it is again an interesting climate. So seeing what moves we make, whether it's maybe diversifying into a bit of commercial or something like that.
It's pretty much cleaning up, because we've gone so fast in such a short period of time. It's really just finalising all the projects,
it all up,
and then sit back and just go, all right, where are we going now?
What's our next move?
Next?
And you're probably working with results will help you with that as well.
That's the idea.
And it's the deals at the moment, they're a lot harder to find. When you do find a cracker, you got to really jump on it. So
20 people there.
It's insane.
I remember one of the deals we were basically scoffing over adding 5 or 10 grand to the actual deal, and now people are putting 50 to 100.
The most recent one was in.
By the time you settle, it's gone up 25, 30 grand.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's what I mean. That was the first real time we experienced it. Was the most recent one we bought. Started the year, I seen it come up, and I was like, "Holy, that is wicked!" It was four doors down from our other one. Corner block, house was empty, of course. And it was, the price was from high fives, and I looked at that going, agent feeling alright. I'll give him $650 tomorrow. Called him up. He reckons his phone was going off. I was like, please let me come look at this thing. So he gave me a sneaky viewing, and there was people actually driving past, seeing it, like wanting to come in. So we bought that one, and I reckon because we took a while to get off the ground, that one's gone from 660 to probably 720 just as it is within
It's
like
just
6
sitting
months.
dormant.
Yeah, you know Larry, the broker? Yeah, Larry said something a couple of months ago. He said 90% today is 80% tomorrow, the way the market's going.
Yeah,
like,
it's
just
actually
moving that fast.
It's actually crazy, and that's the biggest project so far. That's got that many strategies. It's a sub retain and build. It's an extension, a fully blown extension, 100 square meters to it to be a HMO. So it's a reno extension, subdivide, build, HMO. It's like 5 different strategies on it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
We always talk about manufactured growth strategies and layering
got to
strategy
layer
on
it.
top of each other.
So we've always done that, but this one's just a beast. Like you couldn't. It was only a 3x2.
Yeah.
But it just needed a solid
3x1.
A 3x1. You're right, actually. Shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember.
You got that many, mate. You just can't remember.
It's actually hard to keep track of. The spreadsheet, you got to look at it and see it. It's like...
Yeah, no, well done, Jags, on the journey. It's been absolute privilege watching this thing grow and being a part of it.
Likewise, mate.
Thank you
We've
very
been
much.
probably flying at the same...
We have, yeah. It's
Same
all
time
been going
frame
at the
and
same
pace.
time, right?
Yeah, and then doing it together is even better.
Yeah.
So glad that all happened.
Look forward to the next 5 years as well.
Definitely.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the podcast and recording the last one in the booth with me. Like I say,
Thank you very much.
Anyone better.
Much appreciated.
And join us again next week. Next week I'll be in my office. And remember, every master was once a disaster. Every winner was once a beginner.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in the same time next week so you can stay up to date with all cash flow positive property updates.